All right, Junkie Nation, what's going on? Gorgeous George and Goes are back. We get to talk to light heavyweight Josh Silveira, who's co-main eventing PFL 7 2023 playoffs. It's coming up on Friday, August 4th on ESPN. His opponent is Ty Flores. They're down to a final foursome there. The winners here advance to the finals. How are you, Josh? Welcome to the show.
Hey man, I'm happy to be on here. I'm feeling great. We're like a week and a couple days from fight night, and yeah, man, back in the same spot where I was last year. But the only difference is I'm winning this thing for sure now.
Let's go back to last year where you took your first professional loss. It was in the playoffs. Do you remember anything about last year? Anything maybe where you had a chance to reflect and maybe you slammed your fist down or you told someone this is all gonna make me better and I'm gonna come back next year. Watch. And now we're here 300 almost 365 days later.
Yeah, I think um, I had a lot of thought process, man, and I think they started silly at first. At first I was rewatching the video. I was like, "Oh, it's my mullet. I gotta cut my mullet off. It's swinging around everywhere. It's this, it's that." I was trying to find little silly excuses. Um, Sometimes, man, just things just don't work out like that in the fight game. You gotta get back to the lab. You gotta get back to the reason why you're doing this. Um, PFL $1 million, whatever is not on the line. I would still be doing this. This is what my passion. Um, and Yeah, man, I just learned how to cope with it. I learned how to just recover little by little, man. Mentally, it was a barrier in my head. I couldn't believe it. My first loss, I had a chance to make $1 million, or a chance to get into the finals. um but sometimes, I don't like to look back at things too much, but I had to go look back and see how far I've came as an individual, as a fighter. And sometimes it feels good, hey, I lost, but look what you've done to this point, man. Look what you're doing. Your family's proud of you, and be proud of yourself. So one thing I learned when I wrestled in college was, Zeke Jones used to tell us, never too high in the highs, never too low in the lows, right? So if everything's going right in life, and you're up in the heavens feeling good, bring yourself back down to the middle ground, and vice versa. When you're down in the dumps, learn how to be your own motivator, learn how to pick yourself up, push your shoulders back, and um, get back to it, man. There's no other life I'd rather live than this crazy MMA life.
Mm-hmm. You got a great finishing record too, not just a great overall record. You have a great finishing record. How proud are you of that? There is no judges controversy in Josh Silveira's career.
Yeah, man, I think it's just the way that I've trained since I was a kid. I've been involved with jiu-jitsu my whole life. Um, so I'm a squeezer. If I get your neck, I'm squeezing it, and I think that has led up to those head kicks that people see all the time. They think I'm gonna try to take them down and squeeze them, which that's what I really want to do. But then I throw that head kick up there, and I remember the first time I got it. I was a bit like, oh wow, I actually did that. And then I did it one more time. I said, oh, maybe I'm getting good at this thing. And then when I did it for the third time, I said, like maybe this is something that I know how to do too. So I think throughout our career we learn different little techniques, and on fight night, you know, you learn a little bit about yourself sometimes. So yeah, man, I love that I'm a finisher. It works well with the PFL season, especially in the regular season with the point system. So yeah, man, that's where my mind's at. I hate leaving it to the judges, especially after that first loss. So yeah, finishes all the way.
Did you come close to cutting the mullet, or was that kind of you just joking around early in the interview?
That was just me being a crybaby because I was rewatching the fights, and there were some strikes that didn't land, but for sure was not saying it didn't land completely on my face, but when I would turn my face, the mullets going all over the place. It's not the mullet's fault, man. I had to leave the mullet alone. But now when I go in there, I lock my hair up. I braid it, um, just to you know, if I lose, I lose because of me, you know, and if I win because of me, not because of the mullet. Or maybe the mullet gives me a little extra strength here and there. But yeah, that was just me being crybaby. You'd be surprised. This is such a mental game, so that's just trying to find an excuse for myself.
What would you be doing if you weren't an MMA fighter? And I know you were born into this through the
Oh man,
family. You're in the state of Florida. You know, you're part Brazilian. You wrestle. I mean, you were destined to do this. But if not, I'm just curious, what would you be doing? And can I take a couple guesses before you give me the answer?
for sure.
Just going off your look, all right? The mullet, the beard. I see a tat over here. Obviously, the ears show us you're a tough guy.
Yeah.
I could see, and I'm going to give you some credit. I'm not just going to make you a tow truck driver. I think you could have a business of tow trucks. So you're the guy that runs it, but you had to get get your hands dirty for a few years, and then eventually you
Yeah.
bought a few businesses, and now you, man, I don't know. I used to watch South Beach Tow about 10 years ago, and it was
Yeah.
based
You
in
know,
Florida.
I think I
The other
could have.
one would be you possibly working. Um, every year they have this contest to see how many of those pythons can be rescued in the Everglades. You strike me as the type of guy that wouldn't be scared to take on a python either.
Oh man. Hey, I like the toe thing better, man. You know, python. Leave this. I'll leave the snakes alone. I'm not a really reptile guy. I'm more of like hold the reptile. I'll touch it at a zoo, take a step back. Um, but I would probably be that tow truck guy versus the python guy. But honestly, if I could pick something to be with, I thought I would have been like a veterinarian or something like that. I love
Oh yeah.
animals, but
Oh, that's
but
cool.
but believe it or not, man, I do have an issue, and this sounds crazy, right? I have an issue with blood and cuts, but only when it comes to fighting, I'm cool with it in that particular situation. But I'm not really good with that outside of the fight, you know? It's weird. It's a weird thing. So I don't know how that vet thing would have gone out, but that's something that my mom would she would mention to me, when I was like, I want to be a fighter. She's like, be a vet, please. And I'll tell her I'm gonna be both. But
Hmm.
that never ended up working out. But I honestly feel like it's just I can't. Everything has to do with MMA. So if I wasn't fighting, I'd probably be a coach,
Hmm.
like my dad, maybe.
Yeah.
If not, man, I like to have a good time. Maybe I'd be like a bartender out in the nightlife or something like that. But
Okay.
I never really had to work a day in my life, as in my parents were always very, very good to me. They believed in me in the beginning, so they knew I was an athlete, man. So before wrestling, I played for a lot of football too, and I played soccer, and they just knew I was an outside kid. Never really watched a lot of TV. I was just, my mom would tell me in Portuguese, every time you come in here, the ceiling is always falling on your head. The ceiling's always falling on you. Always got to get out of the house before you get crushed by the ceiling.
Hmm.
So I was always outside playing with my friends. So I think I would be involved with something of that nature besides pythons.
Hmm. Have you ever? I don't know why I'm fascinated by this, but we have a friend that's a veterinarian. He does well, man. If you ever chose to do that, I think you'd love it. I don't know if it's a human blood thing or if it's an animal and mammal blood thing, but um, what about gators? You ever had any close calls? Gators, snakes, anything? Florida's nutty, man.
Yeah, man. So I used to drive past Alligator Alley like every 2 weeks. When I would go visit my dad and go back to my mom's house. My mom lived in Naples at one point of our life. So alligators are cool. They're cool from a distance. you know, um, Florida's interesting. It's an interesting place. I respect the animals, but it does get a little exotic out here. When I was young, I got bit by a brown recluse. I was in the hospital for like 5 days.
Damn.
So, yeah, man. Florida is like a mini Australia in a weird way. We just got a lot of exotic stuff, but yeah, man, from a distance, I've held like little baby alligators and stuff like that, but I would never put my head in their mouth or something like that for
Fuck
show.
no.
Yeah, yeah, that's just kind of like you're
Who
playing with
would?
playing with fire, man. I rather, and then people look at me like, yeah, but you go into the ring and fight. I'm like, at least, you have the odds are probably better in that case,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know that anyone would want to put their head in between in the alligator. Does someone do that? Put their head in
So
the alligator's mouth?
yeah, people do it all the time, and there's videos where, if you forget to wipe your forehead because you're sweating, most likely you're gonna be outside. Man, alligators. I actually know quite a bit about them because I would follow this guy that he's all into alligators, and he's like a pro at this thing. I forgot his name, but they basically, man, they don't attack you. They take advantage of the moment. So they're cool around you. You just can't give them a moment, right? So if you fall in front of them, or if you give them this sense that you're vulnerable, they're gonna eat you no matter what. But if you have a good sense and you're moving around and you could shift them away, then they just take advantage of the moment. So if you ever decide to put your head inside of alligator's mouth, make sure you wipe the sweat off your face so you don't
What's the
let them
sweat got to
react
do with
bad.
it? That's
The
feedback
drop,
to him that you're scared.
the drop hits his tongue, right, and that makes it
Yeah,
go.
the drop hits his tongue, and then that's his reaction. So
Shit.
they have a fast slap. They smack down, but they go slow opening. So that's an advantage for a human if you ever want to get involved. They open slow, smack down fast. So you got to be very careful if you ever decide to do that, or if you ever come to the Everglades, go watch a show. I bet you these guys are wiping their foreheads left and right.
We've been to the Miccosukee Indian Reservation,
Oh,
probably
there you
called Native
go.
American Reservation now, because this was 30 years ago. And we saw a guy named a Native American named Wayne wrestle
Yeah.
an alligator. He was about 6 feet. He says, I do 8 feet every once in a while, but that those 2 feet, it's where you make a difference in terms of being able to handle the alligator.
Hmm.
And then we said, would you ever do a crocodile? And he said, fuck no,
No,
because the
no way.
crocodile does both of its jaws contract versus the alligator, only the top contracts. He goes, they're more aggressive and more wild. That's
Very.
my brother, by the way, down below. He
Oh,
was
okay.
little. I was a teenager, but he remembers everything pretty good. We even got him to eat alligator later on. We tricked him, told him it was
Yeah,
chicken.
it was more
Yeah,
of a
man.
trick.
Yeah, being from Florida, you're gonna eat some alligator nuggets every once in a while, and you're gonna try some frog legs, and that's just a Floridian thing. It's not what I prefer doing, but it has come across my plate, and I have tried it. Well, yeah, man. I went to all those little shows being raised in Florida, with the natives and stuff like that. We used to get a lot of them in elementary school, where a guy who from native background would come and show his dance from his families of years ago, and show the culture. So I was always involved with some native stuff, especially being from Florida, Mississippi, Seminole, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
All right, Goes. I know you're probably bouncing off the wall with questions because he's just as fascinated about all this stuff as I am. Go ahead, Goes.
So I want to get back to a little bit of MMA. Hear me out, okay? Because this might sound crazy, but when fighters say, "Hey, the training camp's actually the hard part. That's the worst part. When you get to the fight, you're a little bit more relaxed." I was
Yeah,
thinking about something. In PFL, the regular season has to be so stressful because if you don't do enough, you're not going to be in the playoffs.
yeah,
I have to imagine there's a lot of pressure built into that. But when you get to the playoffs, well, how is that supposed to be relaxing? Because now there's more on the line, right? So I
yeah.
guess my question to you is like, is one a little bit more stressful than the other? Is it almost a sense of a relief once you're in the playoffs, or a ton more stress even hit you now that you're there?
So I think it's a little combination of both, right? Because MMA in general is a stressful sport. Just knowing that you're gonna get locked in a cage with somebody, that's already a stressful moment just by itself. But in this particular PFL season, right, the regular season into the playoffs, and I associated it with well because I wrestled in college and we would wrestle every weekend. College is the longest season out of all NCAA sports. I believe it's a 6 month season, or maybe a little less than that, where other sports, they might have 3 to 4 months in their season. Um, so my experience with this is, the physical aspect, I get physical breaks. There's times where there's times when you got to do less because you know, I'm looking to fight 4 times this year. Some guys fight once, some guys fight twice, depending on the scenario. The physical break, I'll get breaks. My dad will give me breaks, and he's like, hey, you got to go rest. But it's the mental aspect, right? You win a fight in the PFL and you already have another fighter announced already. Here is your next opponent. This is the next guy you're fighting right here. Boom, you win, boom, you win, boom. So I think there's a mental barrier sometimes, where I'm just like, man, this is such a long season. I feel like I don't get a mental break. But that's the job, man. You got to cope with that the best you can. You have to understand that fighting for $1 million isn't going to be Skittles and you know rainbows and he ha ha, what a beautiful day it is outside. There's going to be tornadoes and hurricanes and tsunamis and um it's just about being consistent, man. Understanding that it is a long season. Understanding that you got to respect your body, respect how you feel, respect the moment, and just show up to the gym, man. Just getting it in, man. Just showing up and understanding that this is a long season.
Let me ask you a little bit about Ty Flores. So we're in an era now with social media and all that that you can kind of take a look and see what Ty Flores has been up to today, or who he's been talking to, where he went, all that type of stuff. Do you ever get wrapped up in that, kind of like watching your opponent, trying to see what, not so much what they're up to, but where they've been? Did they stay out late tonight? Like, you have that ability to do that. Do you ever do that, or is that going a little too far?
um, I don't really go looking for these little moments to possibly make myself feel better, like if he goes and gets drunk, whatever. I don't want to think of it like that. I think of Ty Flores as a killer, ready to take me out, ready to take what's mine, ready to embarrass me on TV, on ESPN. I take all of that very seriously. I want to prepare for this monster, this nightmare, and when I get there, you know I will make adjustments, and if worse, if it is as bad as I think it is, then we're ready. And if it's not that, then you know it's gonna be a hard night for him. But I've always I'm ready. I'm a finisher, but I'm always in my mind. I'm ready to fight 15 minutes. I'm ready to fight 25. I don't give a crap. So I don't really go looking. All I could do is I look at his the most I do is look at their previous fights, obviously, try to see some tendencies, but I don't really go onto their Instagram or anything like that. Or ask somebody to go, you know, be sneaky in his gym, or I don't even know what guys do nowadays. Um, when I was younger, I'd find myself doing things like that, but I'm just so focused on myself and being in this position that I'm just excited, man. I don't care if it's Ty Floors or it would have been, Rob Wilkinson or even my teammates. Especially what happened with my last loss. That experience was ruined for me. I'll fight my teammates tooth and nail to the death. Not literally, but that's the mentality, though.
You have top-notch trainers, coaches, training partners. So I'm not going to ask you to pick one out, and say this guy's the best here. But can you maybe share with us one piece of advice or a lesson you learned from either a training partner or a coach that sort of just shook your world up and changed things for you?
Yeah, man. I think at American Top Team, there's great fighters, man, and it's okay for another fighter to inspire you. You know what I mean? It's okay for just because we're all a badass and we're all trying to strive for something. Um, I have fighters in there that inspire me, man. Dustin's about to fight this weekend. He inspires me. He's the good fight guy. Always fight the good fight. Always fight adversity, man. Always fight through it. Fight through the fire. He inspires me. You know. Obviously, my dad's Conan. He's an inspiration every day, inside and outside the gym. Um, he brings me he brings me peace in my mind sometimes when I'm having freak out moments. Um, there's times where the practice is hard. There's times where I simulate that day that sparring didn't go well, and I start thinking this is what's gonna happen on that fight night. My dad shuts me down already. That's not it, man. You're going through this to get ready for the fight night. Another guy who inspires me, Johnny Eblin. We come from the similar background. He's a college wrestler, works his ass off. He inspires the shit out of me. He's such a great guy too, and he works hard for what he does. Um, but yeah, man, American Top Team is the best gym in the world for a reason, man. And if you don't know what to do in there, and you don't know what how to adjust, all I tell people all the time, if you don't know what to do, what direction to go in, go help somebody. Go help somebody. Go offer help to someone. I'm here. I'm a body. Pick me, please. Take me along with your camp. Take me along with your journey. By the time you know it, you're on your own path, man. You buddy up with somebody, and you work hard, and you push the way they push, even though you're not getting the glorious credit and the fame. But man, you'll be a better fighter, better person. No, I tell people all the time, false sense of confidence in this sport will get you hurt. ATT doesn't offer that. We don't have false sense of confidence. No one's gonna give you a false sense of confidence, because it is a wolf's den in there, man. Every day is a day, where you could kick some ass, or you're gonna get your ass kicked, and there's no in between. You know.
Let me finish with two questions. Who wins in a street fight? I'm just going to give you the last names, and then I want you to tell me who wins and see if you can guess the theme, okay?
Okay.
On one side, we got Velasquez, Bader, Henderson, Silveira, and Dalloway. And on the other side, we got Cormier, Couture, Munoz, Hendricks, King Mo.
This is Arizona State versus Oklahoma State. That was an easy one. All right,
Okay.
ASU all the way. ASU all the way. We got Kane. He's a crazy guy. Obviously, don't fuck with Kane. We got Bader. I trained with Bader back in the day. Yeah, that's Vanilla Gorilla right there, man. We call them Vanilla Gorilla for a reason. That guy is a powerhouse. CBD CB, bro. He's always been talented guy. I know the back end of his career, we all get old and stuff, but I hope we get prime CB, prime time CB, man. He made some noise. But yeah, man, I don't think Oklahoma State would they have an issue with us. I think
I'm gonna ask King Mo the same question, see what he says.
Ask Mo, man. Mo would agree with me. Mo would agree with me. This is a street fight, man. This is a street fight.
The other side's got some names too, man. Daniel Cormier, Johnny Hendricks, Mark Munoz, Randy Couture.
Yeah, but
it'd be great. I'd love to watch. I'd pay to watch this. You guys should do this. I would pay to watch this pay-per-view.
They might have a little street in them, but just Velasquez. I know he probably has some good street technique that he has never showed the world yet. You know what I mean? And who else did you name on our side?
Dan Henderson went to ASU.
Come on, man. Are you serious? Dan Henderson? He is that dude, that knockout against Bisbing, man. That will always be in my mind when I think about that name, Dan Henderson. Nice, humble guy, but brick house of a right hand. Holy moly. Imagine a brick in his hand now in a street fight. That's an issue right there. I might not even have to do anything, to be honest.
All right. I think we took up enough of your time, but it was a fun time, Josh. I hope you have a great camp, whatever's left. Safe travels to San Antonio. We'll be watching on ESPN on the 4th of August, you versus Ty Flores. The semifinals, basically, here on the road to $1 million. Thank you so much for the time, and hopefully we can do it again, man. I had so many more silly questions. I've been wanting to talk to you for a while. By the way, what's that green thing right there? Did I just jinx you? Did you almost get towed, or what? What's that thing?
No, so
stop parking in the red areas, Josh. I know you're an athlete and you usually get your way, but We got parking
Yeah,
spots, you know.
so there's a good thought behind it. You know, I've been getting
All right.
home late, man, from training, and all the parking areas are taken. So I got to go park in this little private lot, and I just didn't wake up early. I got to move the car by 9, man, and I didn't wake up early enough. So I
Those
wake up
stickers
to this
suck,
thing.
huh? I've
Man,
gotten one
dude,
before too. Like you try and peel it off, you're like, bro, I was just here for 10 minutes, and they give you
it
that
gets
warning
worse.
sticker.
The worse you try peeling, the worse it is. You know, my girlfriend's telling me how to get this Goo Gone. I don't even know what Goo Gone is, you know, but I got to go to Home Depot, get some Goo Gone, because I got this green sticker here. Everyone's like, hey, dude, you're going to get towed. I'm like, man, this is from 2 weeks ago. I'm trying to figure this out still and get ready for this fight.
And what on earth is going on in the back seat behind it? Looks like a dead fish back there.
No, that's a cowboy hat.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
I'm using back here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like one of those dried cowboy hats. Here, want me to grab it for you guys?
I saw
Yeah.
a trout too. I thought it was like a trout or something.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool. All right.
yeah. You know, this is me getting ready for San Antonio.
Nice.
It doesn't fit, obviously, but we're good to go. Yeehaw!
You
San
like
Antonio, baby.
you Magic Mike in that on the weekends or what?
Just for my girl, just for my girlfriend. Yeah, she probably
That's
just for my
hilarious.
girlfriend. Magic Mike all night, you know. But you know, for everyone else, retired now. Game over.
You're the man,
Yeah,
Josh. Nice talking to you, man. Thanks for being a great sport. We'll
appreciate
talk
it,
to you
guys.
soon. Good
Appreciate
luck,
it.
all right? All right. Take
Thank
care,
you,
buddy.
guys. You guys are awesome pair of brothers, man. Don't forget
Thank
that.
you, sir. Appreciate you.
Take
All
it
right.
easy.